I'm convinced that the first question Fox designers ask when designing a new shock is, how can we include nipples? Oh well, when in Rome. Ooh, nipples. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we're going to be working on a 2024 Fox Float Performance Series Evol rear shock. We're going to be doing a full service on this shock, air can damper and eyelet service. As I always say, at a minimum, you absolutely want to stay on top of your air can service, just like you do your lower fork service, that 50 hours, and it doesn't have to be every 50 hours, folks. Could be 60, maybe 70, maybe 40. It all depends on where you ride and how you ride, but stay on top of those. Those are the two most beneficial services you could do on a mountain bike with the greatest return on investment and time. The damper on this guy should be easy enough, and look, Fox gave us a screw in the IFP chamber. Yay, no more pellet. So with that being said, let's get into the tools and parts needed for this job. As always, the most important tool on this table, right there, safety glasses. This is a shock. It has oils, it has pressure. Wear your safety glasses. Now, in order of use, first, we're going to need a shock pump. Ultimately, you might need you're going to need a high pressure shock pump if you don't use nitrogen, but ultimately you're going to need a shock pump to take down your current PSI and write down your settings, okay? Now, this is optional. I'm going to take out my shock hardware. You don't have to do that. I'm doing it because I am going to service the dials, so I like taking out the shock hardware on top, right? So next, what we're going to do is we are going to take out the cap on the IFP. No more pellets. Unfortunately, they used a T8 Torx wrench. Everything else is Allen except for this cap. It's a T8 torque wrench. Go figure. And then there's a valve in there. Need a valve core remover tool. So any valve core remover tool will do. We're going to take the shock. We're going to put in a flat soft jaw. Invert it, make sure it's vertical. 2mm Allen to take out the bleed screw, magnet to take out the bleed ball that's inside. Then we're going to separate the shock. Adjustable wrench, Nipex, 32mm wrench. But you will need, to torque it down later, a 32mm crow's foot. Again, crow's feet are more important than wrenches and adjustable wrenches because they allow you to remove and to install. First, then when we separate it, we're going to need an oil pan for the oil. Then we're going to work on the IFP first. We need to remove the IFP. Air comes in handy for that. Clean everything up, put the new seals, set the IFP. You could do it with either caliper. I'm a big fan of this Fox tool, so you don't have to buy it. You could just use a caliper, but I like using this Fox tool, so I'll probably end up using it on this shock, right? So then we're going to take out the compression assembly or the whole bearing head assembly, right? So to do that, you have this 5/8 thin-walled socket tool that Fox sells. Now, they love their nipples. So this is the 3-nipple tool, 398-00-949. This is the DPS tool, the 3-nipple tool, which technically is a little smaller. I want to see if this one will work, but ultimately we might be needing this one, so I ended up getting it anyway. Now, this is optional. Do not change the piston band. I will get in that later, but if you do, having a piston band sizer tool, then it makes it a lot easier without a doubt, or a lot safer at least. There's ways to do it without it. I have other videos that explain that, but that is a total optional tool, and ultimately 99.999% of you aren't going to need to change the piston band on the piston, the compression piston, okay? So to remove the piston stack, tie wrap, zip tie, definitely want one of those. Then we have the option, we need to work on the shafts, the inner shafts. So I have an eyelet removal tool that allows me to install or remove and install the eyelet to the shaft. We might need heat for that to remove it. You will need a 3/8, right? Yep, a 3/8. For this is going to be a 3/8 hole soft jaw in order to get that done. Then we need to go in the shafts and remove a couple of small O-rings, just like a DPS. We're going to need a needle and a small skewer. Comes in handy sometimes, all right? So then you have the option to work on the dials. To work on the dials, all we need is a 1.5mm Allen. I'm going to work on the dials. Then we're going to put all that together again. We're going to need red Loctite to put it all together. Then we assemble everything, fill it up with oil. Then it's time to fill up the IFP with air. So you could use a shock pump with a air adapter, IFP adapter, or nitrogen. I've already tested out this shock with a shock pump and this Race Tech adapter, and it worked flawlessly. Not with the chuck, just the adapter, right? So in this video, I'm probably going to do nitrogen, but I am going to show you guys different adapters that will fit with this shock. Many adapters, including the X2, the Rock Shocks, the Anso, so on and so forth, will work with this shock, no problem. The key is getting the right size O-ring, because there's different O-rings for different shocks, right? So you need a fatter O-ring than usual. So torque wrench to torque everything down. Picks will come in handy. Alcohol, towel, that's pretty much it, folks. Let's go into the parts needed for the job. As for parts, we're going to need seal kits, starting with the air can 803-01-727. Again, 727. The plan was to come out with a separate kit for the air can, but it turned out that the kit for the Float X and the Bomber had basically, well, not basically, had the exact same seals. So 727 is the seal kit for the air can. For the damper, it's 803-01-992. For the damper oil, we need 4 weight. That's what Fox wants people to go with now. And for the air can, you could use 20 weight gold, or you could really use Flox fluid if you have some left over. So I happen to have this one open. I'm going to use the 20 weight for this job. All right. Well, let's start working on this shock. For starters, we're going to want to write down our settings, air pressure and rebound in this case, right? Now, you take off your cap, plug in your shock pump, and then you're going to write down whatever the settings says on your PSI says on your shock pump. Now, I already took care of it. I don't have to worry about it writing it down. I don't have to worry about going back to particular settings. It's going to be for a whole different situation. So when you're done writing down your settings, remove the air slowly. Do not rush it out. You want air coming out of both chambers, right? And make sure you remove all of it right to the end, which is why I'm showing this, okay? Then when you're done removing the air, we're going to take the high-speed compression knob, turn it counterclockwise all the way to the fully open position, and then we're going to take our rebound dial, the red one, and we're going to turn it counterclockwise and count the clicks, right? 1, in this case, 1, 2, 3, actually it's 2 clicks. When you get to the end, if you don't feel a full click, just go back that little bit to feel that click. That's the last click essentially, okay? And then you're gonna write those down. Now in my case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the shock hardware at the bottom over here so I could more easily take out the air can, okay? You might not have to do this. It all depends on your setup, right? Some bikes will have them, some won't. So in this case, to make my life easier, I'm gonna grab one of these tools. So I'm gonna grab the end caps, and just in case anybody's asking, the nipples, always with the nipples, they're on the outside, right? So let's just take out the end caps, and then what I'm gonna do is take my shock mounting hardware tool over here, and then I'm going to install it. All right, we're going to push out the axle. That's all I'm going to remove is the axle. Spin that one there. Then grab my 13mm socket. Again, you might not have to do this. Yeah. Is that it? Well, seems like I could do the rest by hand, so it's probably coming out. Now be careful here when we're done, because we have a seal on the inside, right? That sits inside the bushing. Then, should be able to push this through by hand. There we go. And that's the other side. Now I can more freely take out the air can. So now what we're gonna do is take off the air can. So you might need a strap wrench, you might not. Actually, before we take it off, let's take off our sag ring, put it on the side. There we go. Okay, I was able to take it off without it. A little bit stiff. Now, just to make sure that nothing happens, grab a towel, put it into the eyelet at the bottom. Should have taken a bushing off this one too while I was at it. Okay, pull it through, come on. Look at this. Pull it through. All right, now, just in case there's pressure in there, when we get to the end, try and put some pressure upwards, right? Just in case it wants to pop off real hard. There we go. That's why we put that towel there. Next, we're going to remove our negative token. It is directional, as you can see. It's got a seat on the inside, goes into that nut over here, and we're going to put it on the side. Next, we're going to use a T8 Torx bit to take off the bleed screw. Okay, there we go. Put the bleed screw on the side. Now let's grab that T8 with a little bit of paper towel and press down on the valve on the inside. There we go. Now we vertically mounted the shock and we are going to remove the bleed screw, and look at that. We have an angled bleed screw, 2mm Allen. Remove it. Ooh, look at all the air in there. Holy cow. Folks, this is a brand new shock. This is a brand new shock. Look at all the gas inside the oil. Wow. That is unexpected. Okay, this is what it is. Now, we also have a bleed ball. Don't lose the bleed ball. The only reason the bleed ball stuck onto my bleed screw is because I have a magnetic bit, right? So if you don't have a magnetic bit like I had, then you would need a magnet to go in there and remove the bleed ball, okay? Next, you're gonna grab an adjustable wrench, a Nipix, or if you're like me and you happen to have a 32mm wrench, grab your 32mm wrench, and underneath this bearing assembly over here is your connection points, and we're going to give it a good crack counterclockwise, right? There we go. Good amount of pressure. Be careful with it. And the rest we should be able to do by hand. And screw it. And when you're at the end, and I'm nearly there, we go, and lift it all up, straight up. And that is our top half assembly. Then we're going to take our oil and we are going to dump it. Am I crazy in thinking that that's a crazy amount of aeration for a brand new shock? I don't know. Maybe who knows? Anyway. So I'm going to let this drain for a little bit, and the first thing we're going to do is work on the damper body. As always, folks, when it comes to disposing oil, please do it properly. Don't put it down a sink, don't put it down a toilet, don't put it down a drain, don't throw it outside, don't put it in the garbage. Put it in a bottle, clearly marked danger, don't drink, and then give it to a local bike shop, give it to an auto shop. They will know what to do with it, okay? Before we work on the damper body, if you notice over here, I opened up the seal kit, the damper seal kit, part number 803-01-992, and I placed the seals in order by size to make them easier to identify. For the damper body, first thing, we need to remove the valve core. We have a valve core now, right? So we grab a valve core removal tool, go in there, and unscrew it counterclockwise, pull it out, put it on the side, inspect it, make sure it's all good. Well, this one's going to be good, I'm sure, right? So then we need an air can. We're going to put it into the IFP hole, and boom, there is our IFP. So the first thing we're going to want to do is change the seal. So we're going to go inside, we're going to take out the old seal. I should go through the motions. You know what, considering this is all new, I'm going to keep the existing ones. So actually, you know what? Maybe not. There was a lot of air inside this oil. I am going to change this seal, right? So that's the old one. This is the new one. Grab our SRAM butter. Put it on the new seal. Okay, now you're going to make sure you clean your seal, clean the seat, right? Make sure everything's nice and clean. There's nothing in there. I'm going to put some slick honey, some SRAM butter in the seat. Then I'm going to take the seal, I'm going to put it over, wipe off any excess grease, and we're going to put that on the side. Next, I'm going to take the damper body, take my finger with the paper towel, go in there all the way down, clean it all the way to the base, clean the threads. Okay, inspect it, everything looks good. This one's a new one, so I don't have to worry about it. Now we put the IFP in. To insert the IFP, we have to put it the proper depth, and that depth is dependent on the size of your shock. If you look at this chart right there, you will see multiple sizes for this shock. Mine is a 210 by 55, which means that I have to put it in either 2.53 inches or 64.26 millimeters deep. So Surprisingly, I just found out that Fox's tool, IFP depth tool, does not work with this IFP. We are supposed to be pressing down from the top part according to Fox service, okay? In other words, when inserting it, we have to push it down from here, not from the mid, not from the inside. And Fox's tool sinks in a little bit. It doesn't touch the mid, but it doesn't sit on the outside. It's just slightly too small because it's tapered over here basically, right? When it's tapered, it sinks in. So that won't put it to the proper depth. So I have to use a caliper. Again, when using the caliper, we have to press it down from this edge over here. Not here again, okay? So before we put it in, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of grease, put it on your finger, not too much grease. Just put a little bit of grease and let's coat the inside of the tube, okay? Now, make sure you have no grease over here. And we're going to press it in and give it a good head start in order to make the caliper's job easier, right? Now, I already preset mine at 64.26. And again, we're going to grab the outside edge. We're going to push down. And the nice thing about the caliper is that we can't overshoot. All right. Our IFP is set. Now, to finish it up, in order to make sure the IFP stays in its spot, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our valve core and we are going to screw it in order to create an air pocket in there. Screw it all the way down. Why is it taking so long? There we go. Don't over tighten it. A nice finger snug, although my fingers are slippery. And that is it. Our damper body is done. We're going to put it on the side. Next, we remove the upper assemblies. First, we need to remove the lockout plates. Take 2 fingers, put them underneath 2 of the fins, and lightly just push it straight up, okay? Be very careful with these fins, and put the lockout plate on the side. Then we have to take out the lockout piston. So what I'm going to do is put the old tool in there and give it a little crack sideways. Remove my ratchet, unscrew it by hand, lift it straight up. Watch out, there's going to be shims underneath most likely. And we're going to put it down on the side, okay? Now we have Fox's 5/8 thin walled socket. We're going to put that inside. Oh, my hands are slippery. Let's see if I can remove this like this. There we go. Now I'm going to give it a light crack to loosen it. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a tie wrap or a zip tie, and we are going to put it in the center as far down as we can, okay? So just like that. Just be careful with the shims. Actually, I don't think it's going to make a difference. And then what we're going to do is we are going to unscrew the whole thing, and we are going to lift it all up from the bottom one shot into the zip tie. What you can do is remove this. Make sure there's no shims in it. Yep, we're good. Again, be careful here, just keep spinning. And the whole thing will come out. Yeah, there we go, right? So grab from the bottom up just like that. And let's keep this all together for now. We will inspect it later. Put it on the side. Then we take our bearing housing, lift that up, put it on the side. Bumper, washer, and we have a token. Let's figure this token out. Little weedy token. Now, inside there is also an O-ring on the side. Let's grab this now, okay? Next, we want to remove the shaft from the eyelet. We're going to need a 3/8 inch or 9.5 inch hole in a soft jaw, okay? I'm going to try a plastic one. This could be difficult sometimes with these plastic ones, but let's prove that we could do it, okay? So the first thing we need to do is make sure we have a grease-free surface. So without a doubt, put some alcohol and clean your soft jaw. Make sure there's no grease on that either, okay? So then what we're going to do, and we remove the O-ring on the bottom because we're going to most likely need heat to remove this, right? So we don't want to burn the O-ring. Now we're going to take it on the soft jaw and we're going to clamp it down real good. Okay, especially with these soft ones. So first let's try it without heat. And the whole thing's spinning, we are going to need heat. So let me just put this to the front for now. Okay, and what we're going to do for heat, what we're going to do, where we're going to apply the heat, we're going to apply the heat right in here, right? So in order to loosen the red Loctite that's in there. So we're going to lock that down real well. Take our heat, put it on for about 5 or so seconds. Okay, now we grab our, still spinning, still spinning. Again, sometimes with these plastic ones, nope, it is way too, oh, there we go, we did it, see? You could do it with these plastic ones. Sometimes it's a challenge, you gotta really have a strong vise in order to get it done. So, we loosened it. Now, what we're gonna do is before we take it off, we wanna see what position the shaft is on the inside. So put the knobs towards the front, and then lift up the shaft. And if you notice, this ball is towards the front. With Performance Series, is towards the front, so we're good. Yep. So now we're gonna grab the inner shaft, and we're gonna put both of these on the side. We'll deal with them in a bit. And this is our eyelet. So next what we're gonna do is work on the dials, and then we'll get back to changing all the seals and putting it all together. So this part here is optional. Again, if you don't have any issues with your dials, don't even bother with it, all right? Or if your dials are very grindy or not working in general, well, then you could service them to see to make sure everything's, well, working in there, all right? So we're gonna grab a 1.5 millimeter Allen, and first we're gonna take out our compression knob. All right, so let's unscrew that, and don't screw it all the way, just make sure the knob comes off, all right? So then over here, now watch out, we do have balls in there, right? We're gonna grab our, again, our 1.5 millimeter, go to the top over here. This holds in our rebound. Okay. Now this thing should come out. There we go. Put that on the side. Now be careful again, we have our detent ball in there. Pull the whole mechanism out one shot. Okay, and just leave our rebound knob on the side. Then we have our axle, which goes in. And that is the axle. Now also what we have over here is a spring. Okay, and that is everything that affects us for this shock. So there is a seal on the inside at the base over here. So we need to go in there. There it is. Be careful with it. And we remove it. Done. Next, we clean everything up. Clean it up. Grab some alcohol. Just go in there, spray it inside, break up the grease that's in there. Go in there with a paper towel. Make sure you clean the threads best you can. In fact, I don't need to worry about it now, but grab a plastic brush and go through them. We want to get great connection between the damper body, the outer air can body and the eyelet, right? So then what we're going to do is we're going to go on the inside in here, bunch up a bunch of paper towel, and we will go in there with a flat pick preferred, spin it around, clean everything, all the old grease that would be in there in your case, pull it all out, and we could do that again. Okay, now what we can do, go in here and clean these threads, take out any grease that might be in there. All right. Then, just to know that it's clean, we could clean where the spring sits on the inside here. And then also in your case, this top part always collects a good amount of dirt. Just make sure that one's clean. And our eyelet is done. And from here, we just clean the rest of our parts. We don't have to worry about that guy. Clean our set screw. Remove old grease off our rebound knob. All right, make sure it's clean, what we can do. Let's go inside. In case there's dirt in your case that's gotten inside. So it could sit well on the axle. Clean out detent ball. Oops, don't lose your detent ball. Then you could clean your spring. Then we'll clean our cam. And then we will be changing our seal next. So the seal is gonna sit right above this seat, right? If you could see that clearly, hopefully inside, there's a seat down here at the bottom and it's right above it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the old seal, replace it with the new seal. That's definitely it. Put a little bit of SRAM butter on it. All right. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in and push it down to that base. Now I created these plastic, I took plastic picks and I cut grooves in them to make it easier to sink seals in. All right, nearly there. And there we go. For the dials, we're going to use a different grease. We're going to use a heavier grease. Do not use SRAM butter, Slicolium, or anything like that. We need something a little bit more sturdy, okay, a lot thicker. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grab our cam, and we're going to take a good bunch of grease, and we're going to put it and cover the cam real well. All right, just like that. Then we're going to take our cam, and if you notice at the base there's a hole, we're going to make sure it sticks inside there. All right, so then what we're going to do, put a little bit more grease on the tip over here. Okay, now before we put that in, we're going to take some grease, we're going to put it, we're going to cover our spring. Let's take the spring and put it in the hole. Then we are going to take our rebound knob and we're going to put it in. Now, I should have mentioned, the set screw sits inside this groove here, okay? So we need to make sure we see that. Don't place it like this inside. This hole over here cannot fall on top of this. It has to be in one of the open areas, right? So just like that, put it in. Where am I? Oh, the whole thing came out great. So there we go. So now we're in, right? So before we put it in, what we need to do is grab a little bit, just a touch of grease, not much, just to stick onto our detent ball. Put the detent ball on the spring, and there we go. Make sure it bounces in and out, right? So then we're going to grab our set screw. We're going to put it inside. And we're going to screw it all the way down. And then it makes it to the end. We can't leave it there because the knob won't move. Turn it back a quarter turn. And now our knob moves. Perfect. Then we are going to take our compression knob, and if you notice there's a dimple in here, we need to take that set screw, put it on top of that dimple. Then we grab our 1.5 millimeter again and screw that set screw into that dimple, nice finger tight. And our eyelet assembly is done. Now we continue with the regular 200-hour service or 125-hour full body service, basically, right? So these are 2 shafts. There is an O-ring in here and an O-ring in here. We need to remove them. Needle comes in handy to do that. So basically what we're going to do, scrape the side. Actually, no, it's on top. Even easier, right? So grab the needle, push the O-ring out. Then technically we could grab this shaft and push it down. Oop, gotta get out of there. Or I could just grab this guy here. There we go. right? Now we're just going to take it and we're going to push it all the way down and out. Right there. Little skewers come in handy. Now, the other one is, again, at the top over here. Take a needle, go in there. Thought I had them. And pop them out. Boom. Now, both of these are bad. I cannot reuse them. So next, what we want to do, clean our shaft, see if we go inside. All right, just try to go as deep as you can and clean it from both sides. I really don't have to worry about it, but if it was dirty and old, then want to get everything you can out of there, right? This one's going to be a little bit harder. What you can't do over here is if you have one of those small bottle brushes, like the really small ones, you could try and go in there and clean it, but you really don't have to. Anyway, it is what it is. So now we want to replace the O-rings. So we find the new ones. All right, that's one, and that's two. Okay, now we put, again, shrimp butter or Scolium slick honey. Put it on the O-ring. Let's start off with the old one. Again, we want to sink it down and then push it back in, right? So let's squeeze it. Sink it in. Now grab a pick, sink it into its seat, just like that. Okay, and then what we can use is this guy here to pop it in place. Boom, done. One down. Oops, don't put that much grease. And now we are going to do the same with this one here. Squeeze it. Again, it's near the top. Oh my. Gosh, this could be such a pain in the butt with gloves on. Squeezing these guys to sink them in. Come on.
A few moments later.
Take you. Oh, there we go. Now I have them good. There we go. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Done. Oh, he bounced out. Well, good chance you guys are going to go through the same thing. Come on. He is pretty thick and strong, so. Okay, let me see if I could do him this way. Get in. Get in. Wow, it does not want to go in.
6 hours later.
Let's try this one here. Get in. Get in. It's like, no, I don't want to get in.
3 weeks later.
It's going to take you a couple shots, folks. Only because if you have longer nails, it'll probably be easier. Fortunately, I don't have... Oh, there we go. Come on. Get in. Get in there. Get in. Oh, man. I cannot believe he's being so stubborn. There we go. Finally. Jeez. So, yeah, you just have to squeeze it, folks. Sink it in there. Get it into its seat. There we go. And then once it's in there and the seat on one side, grab the lifting plate. Remember, never from the arms, only from the center. In. Nope, not in.
Eventually.
And I'm back. The camera completely overheated, but I managed to get it in. It took me a minute. What helped tremendously was this. So basically, this is a very tight seal for this shaft, and you're going to need a lot of pressure on this shaft. And to me, it's a little bit risky, right? So you're definitely going to want to get yourself something that fits in the shaft, like a skewer, basically. And essentially what I did, I just took the pointy part, didn't stab it, but essentially, again, sink one side in and then put the skewer in the middle and try and pop it up It's going to be stiff getting it out, but you'll be able to do it and everything is going to sit nicely. And then you can basically install your shaft. See, it's even stiff going in there right now. And there'll be minimal, especially this part's stiff. There'll be minimal, well, there should be no impact to the seal. All right. So this part is done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab grease. We're going to put on the shaft over here. We're going to take this shaft. We're going to put it inside just like that. Now, this is going to be a little bit stiff. There we go. Now be careful. There's bearings or little balls on the top of this guy, right? So just make sure you don't dislodge them. All right. Oops. Didn't want to go down that deep. Let's push this guy back up a little bit. Just about there. Okay, give yourself some room so we can put it back into the eyelet. Before we install the shaft into the eyelet, we need to clean the shaft. Actually, we need to clean the shaft. We need to make sure your soft jaw hole is clean, right? So put a little bit of alcohol on a paper towel. Clean shaft of all grease. Clean the threads. We're going to have to put Loctite Red on the threads, and then we're going to clean the threads on the inside here. Make sure there's no grease on it. Just spin it around just like that. And we should be good. Now, leave yourself some space over here, right? Wow, the ball fell out. So you got to watch out again. Wow, I just noticed that. That was total fluke. So again, you have two balls over here and they can fall out, right? In fact, what I am going to do is put a little grease on it so it sticks a little bit better. Okay. Just like that. Make sure it's sitting in the hole good. Okay. So, again, make sure our shaft is clean. We're going to take some Loctite Red. We're going to put on the top threads. Not too much, but nice little drop like that. And then just make sure it sinks in the threads. All right. Now, soft jaw hole is clean. Shaft is mostly clean. Now, if you remember correctly, the ball ended up facing the dials, right? So when we put it inside, this should help. You'll notice there's a notch over here and there's a notch in the back, right? We need to make sure that that rear ball goes inside that notch. So just take your time fitting it in over here. Should go in just like that. All right. We're in. Yes, I wasn't. Okay, so again, just put it in just like that. Actually, let me do it again just to be 1,000,000% sure. Just twist it in there, make sure that ball makes to the bottom. There we go. Now I'm in. Now we're going to start twisting. Sink it by hand first, just like that. It's as max as I can take it by hand. Let's clean the shaft again. Make sure we have no alcohol on it so we get good grip on the soft jaw. Make sure we're down nice and tight. Okay. I'm going to grab my eyelet tool. Make sure it's not spinning. Well, it would be nice if I actually... Let's take it now. Okay, that's as tight as I can take it there. Then I'm going to grab my torque wrench, 9.6 Newton meters, 90-degree angle. And it's spinning. There we go, 9.64. To assemble the rest, first we're going to start off with this O-ring. It is not provided in the 200-hour kit. This O-ring is in the 50-hour kit, so we're going to leave it for later, all right? Let's not forget to put it in. So for starters, what we're going to do is we're going to put back in our... You know what? I don't know if I'm going to put that in there. This is all new. I'm not going to put it in. If you have tokens, put in your token now. Again, this is going to a whole new setup. So not sure if I'm going to need that. I'm not going to put it in. But if you have yours, put yours in, right? So what I'm going to start off with over here is going to be the washer. Then they give us a new bottom-up bumper, right? Now we have our eyelet assembly. We have our 50-hour seals. We're going to deal with those later. And then we have our internal... Well, we're not going to mix that up. We got that one on the inside, and then we have this one on the inside over here, right? This one might be a little bit stiffer to take out. Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. Now just take them and push it out. Done. And we remove that one. And we have the replacements right here, right? Old and new. I mean, old and new. Take those, put them on the side. Let's go inside. Let's clean our bearing assembly well. Inspect the bushings on the inside. Those are in good condition. All right, then you would go inside, clean any old grease that would be out of there. Again, I'm just going through the motions here. Not that it really needs it. Okay, then it's time to put it in. Let's put everything in. Let's put the inner assembly one first. What I do is I fill up the seat with grease. All right, and I got more than enough grease to put on my hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to sink it in, just like that. This is really stiff, so okay. Then we're going to sink it in its seat on one side, and it popped out the other side. Let's try that again. It's really stiff. Put your finger on the other side. Sink it in its seat on one side. Said sink it in its seat on one side. Come on. There we go. Now it's in its seat. Now we're going to force it down the other side. Just like that. And it's in. And we'll remove the rest of the grease. And we are in. Cool. Grab some of that grease. Put on the inner O-ring. This one goes to the base. Easy enough. Just like that. Okay. Clean up some of the excess grease. All right. Now we're going to take it and we're going to slide it in. It's going to be stiff. There we go. Make sure you clean the excess grease in here because those are threads in there. Our bolt is going to screw on, and it needs a nice surface with not too much grease on it. Did I just put some paper towel in there? Watch out you don't have paper towel residual like that. Now over here we have an option, and I highly recommend that you do not do this. This is our glide ring. You can technically change the glide ring. Easiest to do it with a piston band sizing tool. Ultimately, if your glide ring is in good condition, like this one's brand new, you do not need to change it. And there is nothing else in here to do. So we can just put this back on, right? So I'm going to change the glide ring just so you guys can see what it's like, but do not do this if your glide ring is in good condition. Only do this if your glide ring, well, has scratches on it or has, you know, marks or is damaged in any single which way or form. Now, to do it, we have to remove the piston, right? So I'm going to try and be careful over here. I'm not going to remove all of them. What you could do is inspect your shims, right? Just to make sure all your shims are good. And I know these are good, right? So I'm going to leave this side intact just like that. Now on this side, right, we got a whole bunch of shims. And these I am going to have to take out, right? So we are going to do it from this side first. Again, this is really tricky, to be honest. In fact, I'm going to try and keep everything as in order as possible, just like that. These are my compression shims. Let me take out the rebound shims. Hold on. Let's see if I can get in there and push these out. A little bit of coaxing. Come on. There we go. All right, I'm going to try and keep these in order just like that. Now, I could take out the piston, right? So what we would, whoo, that was unexpected. Y'all got stuck here. Gotta watch out with shim, folks. I mean, I take them apart, but it makes no difference because yours could be very different than this one, right? So it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, I'd rather just leave them as is right now. So to change the piston, the band over here, well, we need to remove this band, try and squeeze it and get underneath it. Actually, that's not a good pick for this. I'm gonna need my other pick. I'm sure of it. Where is it? I don't have it here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So, well, now I snapped it. Now there's no coming back. So the band is stepped, right? So the step part is on the bottom. Now, to do this the right way, again, we need this piston band sizer. And the way this works is, first, we need to put the Teflon ring back on, right? Now, there's a step side, and we said the step goes towards the bottom, right? So the step is, where's the step? I can't see, there's too much light in here. So the step's on the side, so basically it goes like that. Yep, just like that. So that being the case, let's go from the top down. Now we have to put it in as evenly as possible to make our lives easier, although this is the job of the band sizer, is to sort of force it in its seat. Again, we do not want to overstretch it. I'm wondering if it's going to be easier doing it this way on this particular IFP. Nope, something tells me it's going to be easier the other. Oh. Well, let's see if we could. Nope, don't want to do it like that. Again, you never want to force it, right? So I'm thinking it's going to be easier this way. It's going to be easier on the ground. That's what it is. Yep, definitely. So just want to be careful with it. And slowly, you'll get it. Just don't force it one shot, right? Just like that. There we go. Oops, I had it and it just slipped out. Come on. Okay, be like that. Let's do you this way then. Make sure we'll damage this thing. Okay. I don't like the idea of doing it like this. There we go. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Nearly there. Come on. There we go. Now we got it. All right. So now it is in, but now it's too loose. Well, that's going to be the job of the sizer now. So the way this works, and this is the same sizer for the float X, right? So the way this works now is we're going to put it in. Okay. Just like that. Make sure it goes in. Then we're going to grab this pusher over here. And ultimately make sure we're relatively even. And it's going to shrink in size as I push it in and essentially squeeze it all down. I'm going to need the vise for that. So now I take the tool, put it in the vise. Then we basically slowly squeeze it through. And as we squeeze it through, it is literally sizing that band onto the piston. And then it makes it the other side. And now we are good, just like new. Again, do not attempt this, right? You can do it without one of these tools. I have a couple of videos out there that explain how to do it. Essentially what you're going to end up doing once you get the band on, it's going to be a bit overstretched. What you're going to do is fit it inside the damper body, and then you're going to let it sit there for a while so it could grab its own shape, right? But ideally, you definitely want one of these tools, but ultimately, you want to stay away from doing that. Again, I just showed it just in case for emergency purposes only, and that's it, all right? So now with our new band out there, remember this was the bottom. This is the top of the piston, the compression side. Then we're going to be very careful over here. We're going to take our rebound and put it through. So that's all our rebound shims. I'm going to put that in, and then we're going to take our lockout They all in? Yes, they are. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fill them all through. Now again, you don't have to do this. The only thing you need to do is inspect the shims on the zip tie. Make your life easier. There's no need to make your life more difficult, right? And again, avoid changing the piston band unless you absolutely have to. Put the zip tie in the hole. Let it all slide down. Keep the zip tie in the hole. Make sure the bolt goes in. Do not take the zip tie out until you know you are safely in there, and I'm not in there, am I? Oop. Let's try that again. Make sure the bolt's sticking out. And now that I can see a little bit better, there we go. Now it's screwing in. Do it by hand first. Then what we can do, grab our 5/8 tool, put it inside, or put the zip tie through it. Now we can start tightening it down with the tool till we can't do it anymore. Pull the zip tie out. When you pull the tool out, just watch out for shims. Grab our torque wrench, 6.8 Newton meters. Make sure you're accurate on this one. .83. Watch out, there's no shim stuck on the inside. Then we're going to grab our lockout piston. Screw it in by hand first. There we go. Then we grab our tool all the way, and then grab our torque wrench, 2.5 Newton meters. .5 on the money. Ta-da! Then we grab our lockout plate. Make sure the pin falls in the hole. Only push from the middle down, right? It's going to be a little bit stiff because we have a new seal. There we go. And it activated. There we go. Open, close, open, close. We are good to go. Next, we bleed the system and close it all up. Before we do that, let's prep. So we have the damper in the vise. We put a paper towel around to collect oil. We have our oil pan underneath. We have our 2mm Allen with our bleed screw and the bleed ball. We have our eyelet, then crow's foot. You want to torque it down, you're going to need a 32mm crow's foot, okay, to torque it down. As far as tightening it down, you can tighten it down with a wrench, adjustable wrench, Nip-X, whatever you want. But ultimately, to torque it down, you're going to need a crow's foot, and you're going to need your torque wrench, and then something rubbery to tap to make sure we don't have any oil in there, right? 4-weight oil, air in there, 4-weight oil, and we're good to go. So the way this is going to work, one, we need to make sure we are in the fully open position, both rebound, turn your rebound counterclockwise all the way, and also your compression, make sure that you see a space over here. So put it in a closed, and then force it open, and you should see a space, right? So the way this is going to work, first we are going to fill the damper body with oil. Close to the top. Let's tap it, vibrate it, make sure, remember, something rubbery. Make sure there's no bubbles that get stuck in the sides in any single which way or form. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's fill it to the top. Overfill it a little bit. There we go. Now, the way this is going to work, when we install this, we're going to roll it on, push it down, right? You do not want to push down from the eyelet. You only want to push down from this bearing assembly, right? We do not want separation in here, essentially, when we push it in. We need to insert this part and then screw down this part over here. To help us get this started, let me make sure I didn't press that by mistake. I'm open. To help us get this started, what we're going to do is put a little bit of oil on the inside in here. Okay, just fill it up. Just like that. Okay, so once again, make sure I remove this bubble here. Make Should have bubbles dot there. So once again, the way this, oh, I forgot to block the bleed hole underneath. There's a bleed hole underneath. Make sure you got your finger on the bleed hole underneath. So again, let's fill that up. Well, at least I know the bleed hole's working. So what we're going to do again is we're going to roll it on and push it down, right? So 1, 2, 3. We're going to roll it on and push it down. Oops, and I got, great. Not exactly ideal. Come on, get inside. Why is this giving me a hard time? Come on. Wow. There we go. Come on. Now we're in. Make sure. There we go. Wow, it's not threading right. Why is it not threading right? Wonder if I got something trapped in the threads. It is absolutely not threading right. Watch out, folks. Don't force it. If something's not working right, that means something's wrong. Some glove came off, and I'm wondering. Okay. I got to do that again. So, that was odd. So from the beginning again, let's make sure we're in the fully open position. There we go. That's lifted. Let's fill this guy to the top. Put our finger in the bleed hole. Let's fill this up. Let's not trap glove inside. Get rid of any bubbles. Once again, take them, roll them, sink them in. Wow, this is a tight fit. Shouldn't be that tight. There we go. Wow, why is it not screwing in? That is so... There we go. Never force it. Now we should see oil and air. So take your time over here. Let the air make its way through, right? There is no rush. As you go down, oil will come out and air will follow with it. Air takes time to go through oil. It doesn't exactly jet to the top, right? See what I mean? Air's still coming out. Look at all those little bubbles. We want all those little bubbles out. Okay, getting tighter. Go by hand. I'm at the end. Happen to make a big mess this time. I don't like making a mess like this. Let's take our 32 for now. Okay, that's the max I can bring it. So then I have my torque wrench already set to 27 Newton meters, 90-degree angle. Let's grab it underneath. And there we go, 27.2. Now we will grab our bleed ball. We will put that in. And then we will insert our bleed screw. So nice having an angled bleed screw. Thank you very much, Fox. Seriously, guys. Nice hand tight. And we should be done. As for filling up the IFP chamber, we have two options over here. We could use nitrogen or we can use air with a shock pump, but you will need a high pressure shock pump. 550 PSI is our target here, okay? So that's high pressure. Regular shock pump won't do it. As far as adapters, multiple adapters that could work over here, okay? So this is a RockShox adapter to give you an idea. I could take it and it freely goes in there, fits perfectly. I could take the ANSO adapter. This is my own version of it. I created a basically where I use it with a chuck and it pushes the core in and out essentially, so don't mind that. I could use the ANSO adapter, right? So ANSO, the adapter, which works for X2 shocks as well, and RockShox, that fits in perfectly. No issues there. This one doesn't have a seal on it. This is the Race Tech adapter. I could take that one and I could screw that one in. Well, I know I could screw it in. Ultimately, I'll get to that in a second. This is the Float X adapter. this adapter will not work, okay? So the X2 adapter, the RockShox adapter, a Racetech adapter, the Anso adapter, those things work, all right? This one over here, it will not go in, all right? So this one, without a doubt, will not work. I don't know why they make them different, but anyway, it is what it is. Now, the trick is with all these adapters, you need to get the right size O-ring. So for instance, an Anso kit comes with different size O-rings, right? Racetech, I believe, comes with different size O-rings. RockShox, the O-rings are cheap. You could get them anywhere, right? So online. And ultimately, that's what you will be needing in order to make all this work. I had already tested this exact shock with, where'd that come from? This exact shock with this pump and this Racetech adapter only, not the chalk, just the adapter, and it worked just fine. I made it to 550 PSI with no problems, okay? So now I'm gonna try the nitrogen system because I haven't tried it yet, and I wanna make sure it works with my PT Chuck or Power Tune PT Chuck setup, yeah. So basically, I need to take it, put it in. Now this goes in at an angle, all right? Come on. Gotta find the right. Again, the O-ring is what matters here. There we go. Now we found it. Now I know this O-ring worked perfectly with, screwed all the way down, that shock pump. Then I'm going to take this guy, put him in. Now, in my case, oh, he was already open. So he's open, meaning that he should be pressing down on the valve core right now, right? Then when I'm done, I let it go. And ultimately, that should release from the valve core. This saves me from popping O-rings. That's why I like this setup. So I pre-charged my nitrogen system to 550 PSI. I'm going to turn this part on over here. Never look at a gauge straight on. Always look at it at an angle. Slowly open it up. All right, let's slowly open it up. Should go to about 550. I'm dead on the money, 550. Cool, sweet. That worked out great. Right? So now I know that this system is at 550, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut it. Let's see if we have any leaks. There is absolutely a very, very small leak. Yep. Let's see where that leak is at. The leak is coming from, I don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from here. So it's a very small leak. So what I'm going to do, oh, now this is going to be really hard. There we go. Now by closing this, that should close it at the valve over here. And that's it, right? Now, take them out. Now I should be able to unscrew this without losing any air. And we are done. We are fully charged at 550 PSI. The Racetech adapter works with the chuck. It works with the shock pump, nitrogen, air. I'm positive that the Anso will work. The RockShox adapter will work. You just need the right, where is it? The right O-ring. Needs to be thicker than what comes with the stock one on this one. The Anso gives you multiple choices over here as far as what O-rings you want. That's the reason I love having a lossless head, because it really helps with not popping O-rings all the time. All right, next up, let's test it out to see if it works. And we're on the dyno. So first let's start compression on, rebound all the way open, all the way down. Oh yeah. No squishy noises, just the rubbing noises from the glide ring and the O-rings on the inside. That is it. We are good. Let's put it to lockout. Now this isn't a full lockout, but yeah, I gotta put a lot of pressure. So this is a really strong pedal mode, to say the least, right? And I'm sure it could be made stronger. So that's pretty good there. Open. Now let's take our rebound, which is a horrible rebound knob. Honestly, this rebound knob is so hard to get to. Okay. Yep, that is looking good to me. God, man, it's so hard to reach. Let's try it in the middle. Oh yeah. We are great. No complaints here. That is looking solid. Next up, let's finish the 50-hour service. Now for part 2 of the 50-hour service, we are going to start off with the O-ring that goes in the eyelet. We took this O-ring out during the 200-hour service so we wouldn't burn it when applying heat to the shaft in order to loosen the shaft. So take a little bit of grease, put it on the O-ring. You're going to put it over everything, and this thing slips into the seat right at the, not at the base, but you will see it right there. Now be careful with this thing because they like to flop around sometimes and go lower than what needs to be. Hopefully you can see this good. So, wow, do I have it in? No. Yes, I do. Wow, that was quick. That was quicker than usual. Sometimes these things can be a bit of a pain in the butt. Makes it easier if you can move the washer out of your way and the bumper, right? So, yep, I am absolutely in. So we're doing good. Let's put the stuff back. So next we have our air can. Now our air can has wiper, then it has the Teflon ring and actually let's do it this way. Where are you? There you are. Let's take out the quad ring first. Okay, that's the old quad ring. Well, technically new quad ring. Now we have this Teflon ring here. Then we have another one. These should be the same thickness. Let's verify that. Yes, they are. Leave them on the side. I might save these actually. Okay, so then I don't really have to worry about it, but ultimately you would go in here and you would clean it thoroughly, right? You would clean everything thoroughly. You would clean especially in the seats where the rings sit in, both the wiper and the quad ring with Teflon rings. Okay, you clean it real good. And also clean in here because a lot of dirt collects in this hump over here, right? This is evil. This is the extra space they have. It sinks down. Hard to get your finger in there sometimes, but dirt collects in there big time. So make sure you clean that too, right? So now that I'm all clean, I am going to start putting things back in. So for starters, I'm going to grab a little bit of grease. That's too much grease. Just a little bit of grease. And we're going to put this on the inside seat first, right? Just fold a little bit. Just make sure you get in the right seat. There we go. First one's always easy. Okay. Then I'm going to grab the new quad ring. A little bit of grease on it. Don't go too crazy with the grease. And we're going to put that on top of the ring, the white ring. And the thing is here, we need to make sure we do not twist it, right? When it goes in, it needs to go in untwisted. Let's double check that. Yep, we are good. Now we put in our second ring. This goes on top of the quad ring. This could get a little bit tricky. Space starts getting tight over here. There we go. Sink it in and slowly feed it. Easier on the table. Okay, it's always going to crinkle up at one part and then stick it in with your hands, force it down, and we are good. Okay, then what we want to do is make sure that we're free of grease in the seat or in the wiper seat, right? We do not want dirt collecting where we don't want it. Then we're going to take our wiper and we're going to tuck it in just like that. That's good. One thing that you are going to do for sure, clean your threads. Again, we want good connection between the air can and the eyelet, right? So you grab a paper towel, use your thumb and just go all the way around, take all the dirt that's in there out. Now to finish up the damper body, totally forgot to put in, I keep on forgetting they have a valve down here. We need to put in the screw. Oh, you know what? Anyway, there was a O-ring over here. Make sure you change the O-ring. It's in the kit. I don't know what I do with it. So I don't need to change it. It's brand new anyway. So close this, finger tight. Don't over tighten it. Right there, nice and snug. So now we want to remove the quad ring first. Okay, well, split ring over here. So there's a fat split ring and a skinny split ring. The fat one goes towards the eyelet. All right, so again, let's take that one out and take a paper towel, clean it, clean your seat. I'm just going through the motions, not that I really need to do this. Okay, then I would grab the new quad ring, put some grease on it, very light coat. Okay, and then we put it in its seat and we make sure it's not twisted. Spin it all the way around, take a good look at it, not twisted, right? So then we have our fat split ring. Split rings, there's only one way they sit. They have to sit like that. They cannot sit like that, all right? So put it through this side, don't overstretch it. Make sure it sits inside its seat. Make sure they sit together. Then we will grab our thinner split ring. And again, make sure it sits correctly, just like that, right? So put it in, stopping it. Okay, now what you can do is offset the split rings, right? So have the opening on one, let's say on one side, and the other one somewhere else. There we go. Make sure they're nice and snug. Next, we're going to grab some 20 weight oil. We're going to put a couple of cc's in here, spin it all the way around, coat it. I'm going to put some on here, just like that. We have our negative token. Make sure it sits in its seat, just like that. Now we're going to grab our air can. We're going to put it in. Okay. Pivot it down. Let's take a couple of more milliliters. Put it in here. That should do it. Spin it around. Now what we're going to do is push it in until you hear the air escape. Might take a few shots. Just like that. Once you hear the chambers equalize, then it's going to make it a lot easier putting it in. All right. Equalize more. You have to find that equalize spot, right? There we go. Nope. Come on. Wow, I'm not in it. Come on, grip. Why does it give me a hard time? So put it in, hold it, and there we go. Now we're in. Screw it all the way down. It's just oily hands. I really couldn't get a good grip on it. Now, you could use a strap wrench. I don't. I use my fist. And that should be more than enough. Old sag ring, new sag ring. Don't put oil on it. Next, we take alcohol, spray it down, grab a paper towel, and clean all the excess oil and grease on the outside. We do not want to attract dirt in places that we don't want, especially around the dials. Clean the dial area real well. Underneath here, by the way, I did go ahead and just put these on. I have a whole video as far as how to install all different types of, a couple of videos actually, as far as installing shock hardware. So both bearing and non-bearing, or bushing and bearing. And ta-da! And there you have it, folks. You just finished fully servicing a Fox Float Performance Series Evol rear shock. Very easy job, guys. There was only that one seal on the inner shaft. You could avoid it. Honestly, you don't need to change it every time. It make your life a lot easier, right? Do not change the Teflon ring unless you absolutely have to, okay? Because really, it could be done. It's just a pain in the butt. I got videos out there that talk to that as well. So all that's left is fill it up with air, put your dials back on, make sure you put your air cap back on, After your first few rides, make sure you clean the stanchions because excess oil or grease will come out. You don't want to attract dirt and make the wiper's job harder than it needs to be. And then you go out there and you pound it and you have a ton of fun, all right? So, folks, if you like this video, please click that like button, man. Click that subscribe button to see more videos. Click that bell button, what-ding, in order to get notified when new videos get released. And more videos like this are coming. If you want to check out a couple of videos right now, these two might be of interest. And until the next time, I hope all is well with all of you. And we will be talking to you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.